Good morning guys and welcome back to a beautiful morning down on Dartmoor. And me and Paul have come out this morning, forecast for 100% fog in Wistmans Wood, and we've got 100% fog in Wistmans Wood, and it is just lovely. It is really, really beautiful. So we've been walking around now for about 20 minutes, half an hour or so, and kind of handheld, just looking for compositions and looking for shapes more than anything. I was here a few weeks ago scouting, and I took a few test shots, but it's not really the same if you don't have the separation with the mist and the fog, because you can eye up compositions and they just don't look the same when you have the fog, because you just get that separation and everything just stands out a little bit more. So I'm just working on a composition now. Once I've dialed it all in, I'll talk you through my thinking and my settings, and yeah, we'll go from there. But hopefully this fog hangs around and we can get a ton of images from this morning. So I think I finally settled on a composition. This is one that I found a couple of weeks ago when we were here scouting, and there's just these three big gnarly looking oaks staring right at us, right in front of me, and it just looks so good. They've just got so much character and just got so much meaning. There's some here that are just normal and straight looking trees, but the ones that kind of arc and just have their own kind of shape just feel like they've got, you know, something going on there. There's some, you know, dark past and dark history, and they just hold a lot of wisdom and truth, and it's just lovely to look at. So I've settled on a 2x1 crop for now. I've put it on the back of my screen. It's not for definite, but it just gives me an idea of composition. And yeah, just landscape, 2x1, three big gnarly looking oak trees, and the mist and fog is just throwing off the background, and it just looks absolutely lovely. So settings wise, f5.6, which has given me enough of a depth of field to keep everything in focus, but it is getting thrown off from the fog anyway, and I kind of like that. The 2x1 crop is just cropping out the sky because we don't want any of the bright white sky in the shot. ISO 100, 1.3 seconds, and just a touch of polarization, and the polarizer is just bringing through those rich greens. As you can see behind me, the colors are just stunning. So I'm gonna get this shot in the bag and then walk around and try and get a few more. But 2-second timers as always. Grab the shot and move on. So first shot's in the bag. I've taken quite a few shots actually, but I'm just trying to find some really, really nice, gnarly looking trees to show you guys and document what I'm doing and my thinking. The 2x1 crop is the one for me, definitely in here, in these sort of situations. It's just perfect for capping off the sky. I'm trying to get alongside some good looking trees that I like the look of, rather than shooting down or shooting up at them. I kind of just want to look alongside them, and I think that's the best way to go about it, because you don't get in any sky, especially with this crop, and you get the separation of the mist behind the trees, and that just gives the depth and gives so much like mystical feel. And my thinking behind this shot is, again, gnarly looking trees that have a lot of character and shape and a lot going on, and they can tell a story, and just placing them in the right place with the right composition, with negative space and light, can work for a very, very strong, impactful image. That's what I'm onto here. I've got these two beautiful trees on the left hand side of my frame, and again they're arcing over, and when they arc over the frame like this, it just adds so much. It just looks so gnarly. I think that's the best word for them. So I've framed them up on the left hand third or left hand side of the image, and they kind of arc across, and then we've got a big gap of negative space where it's all misty and it just drops off into the background. Capped off most of the sky, although there is a little bit in there, but I'm not worried about that because it's going to be white and misty anyway. There's not really much sky, it's just cloud. So it's just stunning, absolutely lovely. So f5.6, ISO 100, a touch of polarization. It's not really doing a great deal for this shot because it's the way I'm looking. 2.5 seconds, it's still very, very dark. And grab the shot, and I could literally spend all day here if it's like this. It's just epic. There's just so much to do. But the hard thing is composition. Everything is here, it's all given to you, it's all on a plate. But the hard thing about it is composition. And then once you find a composition, working a composition into a photograph, it's different than just grabbing an image. Making a photograph is a memory, and it tells a story. And if you can tell a story with your images, then that's a good thing. So hopefully these trees tell a bit of a story to you and to me in the future. I honestly think this might be one of the most amazing places I've seen in conditions like this. I mean, I've been here in the snow and about 4 other attempts to try and get mist in about the last, I don't know, I guess about maybe the last year and a half, and not got it. And it's just breathtaking. It is starting to lift a little bit now, but it's okay because everything is so wet. The sun is up, but it is still behind all the fog. So now, even more so, all of the trees and the moss and the wet ground, you're getting the shadows and you're getting the highlights, and all the top edges of the tree and all the moss are getting kissed by the glowy light from the fog and the sun, and it just looks amazing. It really looks amazing. I've taken countless shots now. It's so muggy and so humid. My glasses are constantly steaming up, having to constantly wipe the lens as well because that's getting steamed up. It's really, really damp, and it's just making for amazing photography. I've lost Paul, he's over there somewhere, getting lost in this amazing woodland. So I've framed up another shot now. I'm not 100% settled on it, I might have to rework it a little. But again, 2, 3 main trees, mainly 2 trees, kind of framing the edge of the frame, both sides kind of arcing in, and then a nice looking, like, it almost looks like it's dead, tree down the bottom of the frame, down the bottom right hand third, just kind of just sat there all mossy, looking amazing. And it's just composition, that's it. The settings and the camera settings and filters, there's no filters on there now, I've taken it off, but that's the easy bit. But the hard bit is the composition. And once you've found something, working at it, and it's tiny movements, left, right, up, down, rotating left and right as well, because you don't always have to go on the camera's level guide. It's whatever looks good to your eye, and I always try and say that. I try and ignore the rules of composition, and this is a perfect example of ignoring the rules of composition and just going with what looks good to you. And that may be different to me, and that may be different to every single one of us, but that's what makes this amazing art form so unique, because each and every one of us is different. So I'm going to grab the shot, and the mist is slowly starting to lift, so maybe about another half an hour or so, and then we're going to have to call it a day. But it's been glorious, it really has been amazing. I'm so chuffed to finally see it and photograph it in the fog. So one last image to finish off this vlog. I've taken countless photographs. It's impossible for me to document every single one, but this is interesting actually. I've shot this image already. I shot it maybe about 10 minutes ago, and it was thick fog, and it really works. Again, I've got a really nice looking tree, and the ferns are kind of arcing off it, and it just looks so good. It just looks amazing. And I shot it, and I've got the shot. And I left the tripod where it was, and I just waited to see if it would progress, but actually the fog lifted, and I shot it again, and I'll put them up side by side in a minute, the foggy shot and then the shot with a lot less fog. And you guys can see the difference that the conditions make to images and photography like this, because it is just, you just need it so much. It really helps so much with the separation. And even looking on the back of my screen now, I can see that the fog is lifted to what it was about 10 minutes ago. And it's just conditions. Once you've got the composition set up, waiting and hoping that the conditions fall on that image, and then grabbing it. And it's just a waiting game. It's just like anything. It's just a waiting game to just wait and make sure you get the right conditions. And this is just one of those scenes. So the image was shot at f8. It's half a second, ISO 100, no filters, focusing on the initial gnarly tree. And the background does drop off just slightly, but the misty shot works amazingly well, I think, compared to the shot with no mist, or fog rather. So I'll put them both up on screen in a minute, and then I'm going to go about trying to get a few more, and I'll probably wrap this one up because I could go on all day, all day. It's just epic. So I'm going to wrap this one up here. It's been a magical morning. I'm so pleased to have finally seen and photographed this place in thick fog, and as you can see probably now in the background, it is starting to dissipate and disappear, and all of a sudden the photography has become really difficult. So I'm glad to have been here earlier on and got the shots when I did. It's another location ticked off, and I'm super pleased, and I hope it's given you some inspiration to head out into the woodlands in the cloud and the rain to try and get some shots. So thank you ever so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do consider clicking subscribe below, give us a like, tell us what you think down in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one.